Hello, welcome to this video on the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra and its teachings on awakening. Today we will see two verses about how exhaustion, fatigue, can be an occasion for spiritual awakening. First one is 111. Bhairavaṃ bhrāntvā śarīreṇa tvaritam bhuvi pātanāt kṣobhaśaktivirāmeṇa parā saṃjāyate daśā. Having run again and again, having erred, having run here and there, turned around again and again. Bhairavaṃ. Bhairavaṃ is to go here and there in an erratic way, not just running, but running here and there or walking here and there. And the commentator gives as an example of that are circumambulating, turning around a sacred site of the goddess. You walk for the whole night, so that at the end you fall of exhaustion. So having run erratically here and there, again and again, śarīreṇa, with your body, pātanāt, and because of falling, tvaritam, all at once, bhuvi, on the ground, you have walked such a long time with your body, you're exhausted, you fall to the ground, then kṣobhaśaktivirāmeṇa, because the excited energy suddenly stops, like in a faint. Parā saṃjāyate daśā, the supreme condition arises fully. The supreme condition arises fully. So you have run here and there, you have worked, you have done something with your body, śarīreṇa, and you fall down of exhaustion after a long day walk, a long day work, a long day of searching for something, for someone, and doing some exhausting work with your body. Here is more physical exhaustion with the body, śarīreṇa. Then you fall down, you fall to the ground, you collapse to the ground, and when the energy of agitation, the excited, agitated energy stops, virāmeṇa, then the supreme condition arises fully. It's like when you walk at the top of a mountain. You walk, and at the end, when you're at the top, you suddenly collapse. And in that moment, body and mind completely drop off, and there remains only a wide, awake awareness, transparent, all-pervading, like the sky that you may see when you arrive at the top of that mountain. Or you have looked for something, you have searched for something, and suddenly you get it. So there is a moment of collapse, which is a moment of completely giving away all references, all graspings, all supports, everything. You completely, literally and mentally collapse, and only reality, only your real nature, only free consciousness, naked, stripped of all thoughts and movements, remains. And it's like when you have carried a burden for a long time and suddenly you drop it off, or you finally get on your train and you drop your luggages and you completely relax, you completely let go. And in that moment of deep physical letting go, the supreme condition, the supreme state, fully arises, saṃjāyate. So it's like he says, in the state of being a worshipper or on a pilgrimage, pujaka daśā. And the commentator, gives as an example the pilgrimage of Pradyumna Pirtha. It's a big hill that is still to be found in Srinagar in Kashmir, and there is a goddess there, and you can do a turning around that hill. So he says you can do that the whole night and doing prostrations and maybe walking while doing prostrations, and in the morning after that whole night of walking and physical exercise, you're completely exhausted. And at the moment you let go, then naked consciousness reveals herself to herself. And then he gives a quote from the Spandakarika, which makes the same point, that when agitation stops, then the supreme state arises. Then verse 112, next verse, Sanskrit verse. ādhāreṣv athavā, or as if it were connected to the previous one, athavā, or else. Aśaktyā ajñānāc cittalayena vā jātaśaktisamāveśakṣobhānte bhairavaṃ, or else. Ajñānāc, when you have no śaktyā, when you have no knowledge, ādhāreṣv, of anything, because of a lack of power, because you're unable to. Ādhāreṣv means that literally the supports, but it's glossed by vishayeshu, dravyeshu, padartheshu, so the things when you can't know anything because you lack energy for that. Or when your mind dissolves away, your attention dissolves away, you're so exhausted, so fed up, you're maybe sick, or you're so weak, you cannot even pay attention to anything, then at the end of that agitation, jātaśaktisamāveśakṣobhānte, that agitation brought about by that invasion of energy, of agitated energy, then it means at the end of that agitation, just like in the previous verse, bhairavaṃ vapuḥ, the divine body arises, divine body, divine essence, vapuḥ, that is direct, naked, straight in itself, with nothing added, with no illusion, no delusion added. So he says, the commentator explains the expression jātaśaktisamāveśakṣobhānte at the end of the agitation of the possession by energy that is created, that is brought about by energy. He glosses by cañcalatā-virāmeṇa, at the time when agitation, moving here and there, stops. Because sometimes, like you're sick, you have fever, you are agitated, and at some point your energy is completely exhausted, and so you let go. There is a kind of a collapse. Then bhairavaṃ vapuḥ, purvokta svanubhavanandavastharupam bhavati. Then there is the state, which is the bliss, which is the experience of one's own self, which has been told before, that is at the very beginning of the Tantra, when the God, in answer to the goddess question, answered that the real Bhairava, the real divine, is not a visualization, is not this and that God taught in this and that tantric practice and ritual, but rather it is Svanubhavananda, it is the bliss of the experience of oneself, the bliss of the experience of oneself, of self-experience, of self-awareness, you could say, because Anubhava could mean both experience and consciousness, awareness, perception. So those two verses are quite clear. When you're agitated, when there is some agitation for whatever reason, because you have some work to do, there is some constraint on you, because you're sick, because you have fever, because whatever, but some kind of rather physical agitation coming rather from the body, from a physical activity, from a sickness, from fever, then at some point there will be a collapse. And at that moment, awareness shines naked. That's it. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.